Fantastic day, not just weather-wise, but because I've got a new palm. We'll have a look at that in a minute. We did have a good downpour yesterday, which is perfect because I dug the hole for this new palm tree I ordered, and that was rock solid, the ground. That really was hard work. I had to get a pickaxe out, and it's like concrete. But yeah, so it's really dry, but luckily it poured down yesterday morning. So this is Friday, and yeah, so that absolutely poured down, wet the hole up nicely, and saved me basically soaking the hole with a hose. And then luckily the rain finished about midday, and the palm tree came in the afternoon. It was due to be delivered in the morning, running late, so that worked out perfect for me. Yeah, so this is literally the biggest palm tree or biggest plant I've ever bought, and I suppose it's a bit of a whim. I was saying that, my garden's pretty full. There's no space for any new big plants, but I see these being sold online, and I thought, could I squeeze a big palm in anywhere? And I got thinking, if I was to purchase this big palm, where would I put it? And I had sort of three options, and this is a good reason why I didn't pick this option, because this is what I call a shade board. It does get the sun all morning, but shade in the afternoon. And I did consider for a minute digging out my Livingstone chinensis, because it is a slow palm that has kicked out 4 new leaves this year, but that's always going to be a slow palm. So I could have dug that out and put a big palm tree here, but also the neighbour's got a big conifer, and I think that just wouldn't get enough light and heat for it to do well. So my second option, and I did seriously consider this, I've got a wildlife pond here, and it is wild. I've got 2 big tree ferns at the back with lots of sort of ferns and stuff, and there's a small wildlife pond there, and I did consider taking that out and putting the big palm tree there. So possibly could have worked, but again, in the winter in my location, the sun's sort of low in the sky, and that would probably not get a lot of sun due to the hothouse if I put it there. So that was another option. Would have been a lot of work taking the pond out, and would have lost a lot of plants in the process around it. And again, it wasn't the ideal situation for this type of palm, which is, I don't know, sort of an experimental palm. Let's give you a little tease and see what we're looking at. So, like I say, this end of the garden is pretty full with big palms and plants. Didn't really want to push anything in here. So what I have got is a couple of raised beds down this end with some smaller palms, and I thought I could do a bit of height, so that's what we've got. So let's have a look. Right, so this is the raised arid bed, which I've got to sort out next year. Sort out as in, wind's getting up. I hope it's not interfering with the audio. Yeah, so I've got to sort this out because this is a right mess. Weeds, bindweed, cacti in there as well, and agave, so it's not a good combination for weeding. And the front of this as well, but this is going off topic a bit. Yeah, so basically there's a big raised bed here, and I've got my newer raised bed here, which is got some palms in it, but at the minute the canners are sort of taking taken the main attention away from them, so I'm going to have to take them out because this is supposed to be a palm bed, and they are blocking a lot of sun to the little palms. So anyway, so we've got the raised bed there, got the raised bed there, and I've got about a 3.5 foot gap in the middle. And I had some, what did I have? So I did take some plants out. So we've got yucca there, so one of the variegated ones, which got cut back in the winter, same as this one. Yucca Jewel was quite a big plant, got cut back, so they weren't doing well. And there's some other sort of random plants in there, so I took all them out, dug a hole. This is not quite finished yet. I need to get some log border to go around here, but I have backfilled it. Obviously muddy mess there where we had to get the palm unpotted and right it into the hole. It is raised slightly, about 6 inches, maybe a little bit more, 8 inches, but it just sort of ties in with the other 2 raised beds either side. So again, just a bit of that log edging will tie all the borders in together. So yeah, we've got some little plants around it. So this is the palm, and I don't know if you'll get a scale of it in the video. I'll have to take some pictures and maybe put it as a thumbnail of me standing next to it to get an idea of the size. But what we're looking at is about 6 foot of trunk, so 1.5 meters, just over 1.75 meters, whatever. Yeah, and then we've got some big fronds. So this was advertised as that was advertised as 4 to 5 meters. Obviously once you take the pot away, the pot was a big pot, 3 foot wide, 2 foot deep, so you take a couple of foot off of the pot, but still, if I walk up to this, yeah, that is 6 foot. Trying to get an idea, possibly 2 foot wide at the bottom of the trunk. That beautiful crisscross, the old leaf bases, very, very different to any other palm I've got. Well, I say any other palm I've got exactly the same palm here as a little seedling, and I'll tell you, it is a Sabal Mexicana. So that's one thing, growing a Sabal from seed or a small seedling plant. I don't think you'd ever see something get this big in the UK climate, just due to the summers just aren't hot enough, and it's not really doing it justice right now because it's quite windy and the leaves are all over the place. But these are really nice castor palmate leaves on these, quite large, really very, very different to any other large palm I'm growing. You know, from the, you can't confuse this with a Trachycarpus or anything of similar sort of fan shape. Yeah, so it's a bit of a job. Turned up yesterday afternoon, just the one guy delivering. We had to wheel it round on a trolley. Obviously, like I say, the pot was massive, 3 foot by 2 foot. There's some serious weight involved. So just me and the driver manoeuvring this beast into position. That was fun to say the least. Luckily, we might have damaged a few of the fronds. Just going to happen, just due to the size of them and the space we had to work with, basically. And you had to be careful to, uprighting something this big and this heavy. I wouldn't say it's up against the fence. It's about 2 foot behind the trunk to the fence, but I didn't want to sort of put it in the hole and then tip the other way and go through the fence or stuff like that. So that a little bit tricky, well worth the effort. Like I say, I mean, I don't know the growth rates on these. They are slow, even in, you know, United States, where, you know, down south, Texas and that sort of area, to trunk, I think they are still, you know, I couldn't guess, but I'm well, I could, maybe 20 years, I don't know, longer to get this sort of trunk. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure there's a few people from the United States who would give you maybe put in the comments what the actual growth rate to get to this sort of size from a small seedling would be. That'd be interesting to know. But obviously in a UK climate, I don't think you'd ever get a sable to get this big. I don't expect this to grow much more than it has. Just to hold this foliage would be nice. There is it's 2 spears in the centre waiting to open up, so bearing in mind when you're talking weight, a weighty palm like this, or any plant, when you get it out of the pot, you know, obviously you're laying it on the ground, roots are going to get broken, you're manoeuvring it in position, roots are going to get broken, so just for it to hold this foliage is I'll be more than happy with that, to stay exactly how it is forever. If it does grow very slowly in our climate, brilliant. These are hardy to -10, so for my area should be absolutely fine. Saying that, this has been field grown in Italy, so that's good, because Italy do get, you know, cool winters, cold winters, they do get frosts, so that's probably seen cold temperatures. When I first bought this, or considered buying it, I thought, well, I could get up a step ladder and fleece the top of it if needed. That's still an option, but we'll just see. I mean, I don't think I'd worry about anything if we were going to get a prolonged period of maybe a week below 0 nights, you know, -4 or something like that. I would consider fleecing it, but I think in general I'm going to let nature take its course and see what happens, because like I say, when we talk about palm hardiness, you know, there's a lot of different palms, and you say, oh, hardy down to a certain temperature. Well, yeah, when they're mature, this is a fairly mature specimen, but it's not been grown in this country, so I wouldn't say it's going to be hardy down to -10. We'll just have to see. I'm not going to stress out. I mean, to be fair, this was, I think, an absolutely fantastic price for a palm of this size, and for it to be delivered as well. I will say it's from the same company I got my Jubea and Power Jubea from. Power Jubea is still struggling because I did break a lot of roots on that, but the smaller Jubea in the centre bed absolutely romped away as soon as it went in the ground. Yeah, so I think that this company in London, Uxbridge, I think they go by Olive and Palm Mountain, something similar to that. They are actually on eBay at the moment, and I'll tell you how much they are. They're £600, and I'm guessing a lot of people will say, oh, that's a lot of money for a plant. Is it though? If you're looking at something 30 years old, you'd pay more than that for a tree fern with as much trunk. So, and the rarity of these to get something this size in the UK, yeah, I think it's you know, for the limited numbers that are there, and I will say that they're very good. I inquired on eBay about the palm. The guy video called me and he showed me around all the palms, let me pick exactly the one I wanted. Little bit ambitious. Originally I didn't really want the tallest one, but this in the end was the tallest. But that was the best looking as well. There is actually a small one on the side here as well, which obviously been cut back. But yeah, that's all. You got a little bit of a trunk to that. I mean, there were. I'm obviously not worried about that. I mean, the palm itself is the main event. Yeah, so there's lots of. I think there's 5 or 6 to choose from. Some of them had 2 or 3 little palms around it. But again, when they're that small, I wouldn't expect too much from that. The main event is the big palm itself. Yeah, so I can't really tell you much more than that, other than let's see how this does over winter. And I'd definitely be interested to know, if you're in the States, how much you would pay for one of these. A large sable. I mean, this is sold as a Mexicana. I don't know if it is. It doesn't matter to me. It's just a large sable palm. Fantastic little palm. But yeah, how much would you pay in the United States for a palm of this size? 16 to 18 foot tall with, I might be exaggerating there, sorry. It's a 6 foot trunk, so there's at least 8 foot of foliage. So yeah, we're talking 14 to 15 foot tall. Yeah, I'd be interested to know how much that would go for in the United States. I think to get a palm like this in the UK for that price, sorry, not £800, £600. Absolute bargain. And even bigger bargain was the delivery. So that was 50 quid delivery, you know, a low loader lorry from London to Suffolk, where I am. It's a good 3.5 hour drive, and for the guy to actually spend time helping me get it in the hole I dug, really chuffed. Yeah, let me know if you know of any big sables in the UK. I mean, I don't know if there's any, certainly not that I've seen in my area. Maybe there is in London or, you know, down south. Let me know. I'd be interested to hear about that. Yeah, so this is the ultimate position, because one, the other 2 options we talked about earlier, they weren't going to get full sun, especially in the winter. This one will get full sun in the winter, and pretty much full sun all day, as it is now. So I think that's going to give us the best chance to do its thing, if it's going to grow and survive. That needs as much heat as it can get. And this year is not been a bad year for them, but you know, we do have summers where it's wind's getting up again. We do have summers where we don't get much heat, and you know, but again, I'm not expecting this to grow any bigger. As long as it can hold its leaves, I'll be happy. It's really hot, but that wind is really blowing now. That's because it's coming at an awkward angle. Normally we're sheltered, the trees at the back, but they're sort of coming crossways. So anyway, so let me know, would you have bought this palm? Would you consider buying a palm this big? You could say it's a bit of a gamble, you know, not really grown in this country. Is there a reason for that? Well, yeah, of course there is. It's the UK. It doesn't really get hot enough for these sort of palms. Or does it? You know, with the ever-changing climate, maybe it does. We'll see. Right, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.